How Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos' 3 kids are following of their famous mother and father footsteps. Don't permit their easy pores and skin and boundless electricity fool you. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are antique enough to have 3 kids of their 20s. Married due to the fact that 1996, after meeting at the set of All My Children, the Stay with Kelly and Mark hosts didn't plan to begin a family so early. They were both 26 when their eldest became born, however they're satisfied they did. We're so pleased we did it young because now I'm like, consider if our youngsters were little, now? Ripa, 55, has stated. For his part, Consuelos once instructed Ripa on her podcast, Permit Speak Off Camera with Kelly Ripa, that he wouldn't remarry inside the tragic occasion they break up because he's carried out having children. I don't want greater children. I'll be an older dad, he said. Whilst Ripa replied that plenty of guys his age upload to their brood, he spoke back, "Those bad bastards don't have any idea, because what takes place subsequent. You're talking approximately hip replacements, knee replacements, and that they're gonna be that dad, no longer there's something wrong with that dad," he said. However, I did it early. I didn't plan it that way. It simply passed off. And we got genuinely fortunate that's what we did while we did it. Keep studying to research more about Ripa and Consuelos' youngsters, what they're so far and the way they're each following in their famous parents' footsteps. How many biological children do Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have? Ripa and Consuelos percentage 3 biological youngsters, their sons Michael Joseph Consuelos, born June 1997, and Joaquin Antonio Consuelos, born February 2003, and their daughter, Lola Grace Consuelos, born June 2001. Ripa, a morning show mainstay considering the fact that 2001, whilst she first co-hosted live along Regis Philbin, has been open over the years approximately her conflict to acquire work-life balance. I usually sense like a failure, she stated in 2015, when her youngsters were 18, 14, and 12. I don't realize if I'll ever find stability. It's human nature. You're always considering what you're doing or now not doing at that time. And every so often one child needs more interest than the opposite, and that's just a part of existence. When did Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have their first baby? The Daylight Dynamos welcomed their first baby, their son Michael, on June 2, 1997. At the time, Ripa and Consuelos had been each 26 years old. They had been born only a few months aside, Ripa in October 1970 and Consuelos in March 1971. Who are Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos' children? The eldest of Kelly and Mark's 3 kids, Michael graduated from the Big Apple College, wherein he studied film, in 2020. I centered mainly on manufacturing and writing, however I also took appearing classes, he told Smashing Interviews Mag. I've always without a doubt loved telling tales and being in tales. While in college, he labored as a manufacturing assistant on some episodes of the ABC sitcom The Goldbergs. But his buzziest position to date turned into arguably in front of the camera at the CW's Riverdale, in which he played a younger version of his father's Man or Woman, Hiram Motel, in 2 episodes. The primary aired in 2018 and the second one in 2021. He also seemed inside the 2022 Lifetime movie Permits Get Bodily, which his dad and mom co-produced alongside famous person Jenna Dewan. I've discovered loads from both of my mother and father on the producing side and on the acting side, he told Smashing Interviews. And, sure, he recognizes that his upbringing became a chunk, let's assume, unusual. I grew up essentially on stay, he stated. Even before that, I might visit All My Children, and I'd take a seat inside the makeup chair with my mom, and I'd watch her get her makeup accomplished. I don't forget there was one tale. I'm able to bear in mind the episode, however I think my dad's character saves my mother from a burning constructing or something. I went into college, and that I said, my dad rescued my mother from a fire closing night time. I simply constantly comment what they did, he persevered. I knew that it wasn't mainly ordinary compared to maximum. It becomes simply something I lived with. These days, when he's not auditioning, Michael keeps busy producing and writing, and no longer simply screenplays, however additionally novels. He calls Stephen King his literary idol. And each issue of my existence now, I am assisting memories be informed, and that is the most effective factor I ought to ever see myself doing, he said. It's what I certainly experience. Lola, B. June 16, 2001. The couple's most effective daughter, Lola, attended NYU's Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music, in which she studied song and manufacturing. In 2022, 12 months earlier than she graduated, she released her debut unmarried Paranoia Silver Lining. I'm at this factor in my life in which I without a doubt simply want to get the ball rolling, she informed People on the Time. I just became 21, I've loads of cloth to write about. As I've gotten older, I have a lot extra lifestyles enjoy in terms of relationships and friendships. She accompanied that tune-up with a music called Divine Timing in 2023 and The Watcher in 2024, and is set to release her first EP, Sorry, It's All Approximately Me, this 12 months. The primary unmarried off that file, Lola, dropped on October 17. At the private front, Lola has been courting fellow NYU grad Cassius Kidston considering 2023. The couple lives in London, where he's at the start from and where Lola studied overseas at the same time as in college. I like London, New York's usually gonna be my home, however London just has an attraction. It's so stunning, she stated on an episode of Ripa's podcast, Permit.